HTML programming language. What is HTML? The preferred markup language for documents intended to be viewed in a web browser is HTML, or HyperText Markup Language. Technologies like cascading style sheets, CSS, and scripting languages like JavaScript can help. HTML documents are downloaded from a web server or local storage by web browsers, who then turn them into multimedia web pages. HTML originally featured cues for the document's design and semantically explains the structure of a web page. The foundation of HTML pages are HTML components. Images and other objects, like interactive forms, may be embedded within the produced page using HTML techniques. By indicating structural semantics for text elements like headings, paragraphs, lists, links, quotations, and other objects, HTML offers a way to generate structured texts. Tags, which are written in angle brackets, are used to distinguish HTML elements. Input and image tags, for example, add content directly to the page. Other tags, like p, enclose and describe the text of the document. They may also contain other tags as sub-elements. Browsers employ the HTML tags to decipher the page's content rather than displaying them. HTML allows for the insertion of scripts written in scripting languages like JavaScript that modify the appearance and content of web pages. The look and layout of content are determined by the use of CSS. Since 1997, the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, which previously oversaw the HTML and now oversees the CSS standards, has pushed for the usage of CSS rather than explicit presentational HTML. Video and audio are displayed using HTML5, a version of HTML that primarily uses the canvas element in conjunction with JavaScript. History. A system for CERN researchers to use and share papers, Inquire, was designed and prototyped in 1980 by physicist Tim Berners-Lee, a contractor at CERN. Berners-Lee suggested an internet-based hypertext system in a memo he sent in 1989. In late 1990, Berners-Lee defined HTML and created the browser and server software. Robert Kyliow, a data systems engineer at CERN, and Berners-Lee worked together on a combined funding request that year, although CERN did not formally accept the initiative. He mentioned some of the various places in which hypertext is used in his 1990 diary, placing an encyclopedia at the top. Tim Berners-Lee originally referenced HTML tags, a document that provided the first publicly accessible explanation of HTML on the internet in late 1991. It outlines the first rather straightforward design of HTML, which consists of 18 elements. These were heavily influenced by SGML, an internal standard generalized markup language, SGML-based documentation format at CERN, with the exception of the hyperlink tag. In HTML4, 11 of these components are still present. Web browsers translate and create text, graphics, and other content into visual or audio web pages using HTML, a markup language. Every piece of HTML markup has default properties that are set by the browser, but the web page designer can also use CSS to change or improve these properties. The 1988 ISO technical report TR 9537 Techniques for Using SGML, which in turn covers the features of early text formatting languages like that used by the runoff command developed in the early 1960s for the CTSS, compatible time-sharing system, operating system, contains many of the text elements. These formatting commands were derived from the commands that typesetters used to manually format documents. While HTML has gradually headed in this direction with CSS, the SGML concept of generic markup is based on elements, nested annotated ranges with attributes, rather than just print effects, as well as the separation of structure and markup. Early in 1994, the IETF established the HTML Working Group, which finished HTML 2.0, the first HTML specification, meant to be recognized as a standard on which subsequent implementations should be based. The World Wide Web Consortium has been maintaining the HTML specifications since 1996, with assistance from companies who sell commercial software, W3C. HTML, however, also became a global standard in 2000, ISO IEC 15445-2000. Late in 1999, HTML 4.01 was released, with errata appearing up until 2001. The Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group, WHATWG, started working on HTML5 in 2004 And by the time it was finished and standardized on October 28, 2014, it was a joint deliverable with the W3C.